Good morning again to you. If you're just joining us, it is time for Person of Interest, and today we are hosting the National Land Commission Chairman Mohamed Swazuri with us in studio, and we want you to be part of our conversation. If you have any question for the chairman, send us a message 22155, or you can tweet me at Sophia Wanuna, or you can call in. We'll put our phone numbers, will be scrolling on your screen, and you can be part of the conversation. Bona Chairman, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you this morning with us.
Thank you very much.
And there's a lot to talk about when it comes to land. Everyone, words like emotive issue, can of worms have now been, coming up in as far as this is concerned. But I think let's begin with the Lamu land question. And the directive came from the president. You were part of the people who are with him. And after that, many people said that in terms of NLC executing and honoring and doing as the president had directed was not going to happen. But yesterday there was a story saying that no, in actual fact, some had argued the president has no power to do that. What he could only do is complain, not quite direct. But you said he was right in his power to do so, right?
Yeah, I think people are making a lot of noise about something which is so clear and so obvious.
Yes.
As a National Land Commission, we have no obligation. We have an obligation to take directives from the national and county government, and the president represents the national government. So we took his directive thereon, because I was there when he was making that directive.
Yeah.
I was there when these pictures of the parcels were being shown, the maps were being shown. So we took that directive very seriously, because as the head of state, he has the authority to direct. And therefore, we took that directive. And on the next day, we got the first 12 files from the Solicitor General, who was also present with us. And on Monday, we published those parcels, all of them, in fact, without even getting the remainder 10 files. We published those parcels and gave the owners up to Friday 15th for them to bring in their details. So I think that perception, I think we have already talked about. We saw it yesterday. We talked about it when we were in a seminar with Parliament. So we have taken it seriously, and I want to report that yesterday we got an additional 16 files from the Solicitor General on Lamu parcels, which points out that it would appear that we may not restrict ourselves to the 12, to the 22 which were mentioned, because already they have already given us 28, which means 6 additional parcels. And we got them yesterday in the afternoon. We opened them up because we were busy also carrying out the other review. For yesterday, we were dealing with Naivasha and also Kakamega County. So we didn't have time to look at them, but I'm sure by the time I go back to the office this morning, we'll find out how many, which parcels are those, and who are the owners. And even today, after here, we are going to continue with the review. I think you have seen the dates. Even yesterday, we gave another fresh list of even more properties that we are supposed to review.
Yes, 69 of them.
69 of them yesterday. The other one was 64. The one we gave, we were using.
So these ones are coming from complaints from
all over the
citizens,
country, from the individuals, from communities, from county governments. Some are from national governments in the name of ministries or parastatals who complain.
Is this out of norm? Is this surge in complaints coming in that people have realized, oh, by the way, there's the NLT and we can do this?
No.
Is it, or is it something you've been having?
We have been having it. The first one we had was July last year, 35 properties. Then we had in October 40 properties. We had November 55 properties. Then we had April 38 properties. Then we had June. So this is continuing.
It's continuing.
We have a permanent committee. In fact, there's a committee of the whole commission which deals with that, which I chair myself. These ones, we have been having them regularly because complaints keep on streaming in even every minute. Even today, I know there'll be people there complaining about their property. So when we analyze the complaint and we find actually there's merit in bringing the parties together, that's when we now announce. But you know, we want to announce them as because it's costly also to announce 2 every day, 3 every day. So we normally keep them for a month or so. When we get a sizable number, we buy space and we announce them. So it has been, this is the 6th, in fact the one of yesterday was the 7th advert that we are putting.
That you put in.
Yeah, because you know, under the law, this commission is supposed to review all grants of public land by 2017. That is 5 years from the acts being enacted in 2012. So we have up to 2017. That's why we are doing it every fortnight. We have a session or sessions for that. Every fortnight we have sessions for that. Let's
go back to the land question, the Lamu land question. Where are you so far? You've talked about now having 28 files on it. In terms of investigations, how far have you gone? Because those questions of even not knowing who the owners of these companies or land parcels are.
Well, you know, for us, our investigations are very clear.
Okay.
It is the person who is the owner, and you know, every title that you have gives you the name of the owner. Okay. The only difference is that when it's a company, you have to go further and find out who are the directors. Okay. But for the names of the owner, there's none of them which has nobody.
Have you found all these people?
Well, we have found quite a number of them, and I think they were even put in the papers, and they are coming in to give their documentations, and therefore the rest we think we will get to know each one of them. The rest of the investigation is to the process. I think that is the most crucial part. How did they acquire those parcels? And that procedure, even before they come to testify, that procedure requires us to go to the records and also to the ground, and then document the paperwork, the paper trail, how it started, whether they had applied or whether there was a grant from the government or from the county council then, any correspondence, order directives for the surveyors, for the planners to go there. There are always correspondences, minutes of the councils, until the final part where they obtained the payments, receipt for payments, all those ones. There is a procedure that has to be followed in every allocation.
So
this is the process that we are looking at.
That you're looking at. What happens to those who do not come to testify? If you do not find them, what do you do? What happens then?
The commission has got a lot of powers under the Constitution and under the National Land Commission Act to compel individuals to bring in information by whatever means we find necessary. So we will invoke that. If we find that the person has not come on the day we expect him to come, then we'll invoke the powers set in there, which will include even asking the law enforcement officers to look for them and bring them.
So other than what you're doing as the NLC, the procedures, the investigations, there's the CID as well, the anti-corruption body, so parallel investigations going on. Why is that?
Well, not necessarily, because each one has got their own mandate.
Okay.
As I
because
told
the DPP has advised that they be merged. So even he sees a problem in everyone doing their own thing. How is it
eventually we will bring all the records together, because you see, the CID is looking for criminality in the procedure. Let's say somebody forged one of the documents. So theirs, I think, is to find out whether every document that was used in the process was not of a criminal nature. Okay. The other person in the anti-corruption is also almost looking at were there shortcuts that were taken, and was the land that is supposed to have been given to this person the actual land, or did they corrupt into other other persons' parcels? So sharing of information is obvious, is required. And
but why not merge? Why not do this?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Eventually, before we now have the hearings for these people, we will have to get all the information together, because the more information the commission has, the better in carrying out its investigations. And when it comes to questioning the owners, because if you have everything here, you just ask the person and you know you have a background here, you just tick whether it is right or it is wrong. So eventually, the Constitution requires all of us to have consultative processes, participation of everybody.
So at some point you will.
And at some point, yes, we will have to merge all these things and then now have one document that will now use it to ask the people to give information.
So how, in terms of timelines, is there one we're looking at in terms of Lamu and when this is likely to come to a conclusive end, or is it just a timeline that
we have given the timelines in the Lamu case.
Yeah.
I think we are starting from, I think, 21st, which is the day after. I think on Thursday, on Friday, and I think it goes up to 5th of October. Okay, specifically for those ones. But you see, you'll find that some of the cases will take a short time, because we merge them. One person has 3 or so parcels. We didn't. We made an error. We categorized them on different dates, so we can even bring them together, because if the directorship is the same, then we can bring them on the same day and we finalize on them on one day. So the timelines, we don't want it to exceed beyond 5th of October.
Okay. Have you so far been able to clear any of these cases? Because in the president's statement, it was a definitive wrong happened. You know, he was saying this was land that was grabbed. So when you have to come then and investigate to ascertain and prove something that was already said as a fact, doesn't it put the bodies involved in a tricky positions as to work to actually ascertain that, yeah, what the president said was right?
No, not really. I think ours is confirmation. Or otherwise, because in an investigation you can find that this happened or that happened or that did not happen. While we are still at it, it is now is premature to say whether some are truly fraudulent or others are not. It's premature now, and given the fact that we have not merged the reports from the other 2 agencies, it is premature to say so.
Even then, the president's statement perhaps should have been different. That there's allegation of land grabbing, not such, because it was very clear, like it's like there was evidence and proof that that had happened. Well,
we as I say, ours was to take the directive and go and investigate.
Does it put you in a precarious situation?
How?
When you're working from a point of this land was stolen, I'm telling you it was stolen, somebody says that, and then you have to go and perhaps come back with saying it was not.
But you see, the first thing to do is take the directive and implement it. That's the first thing that we do.
Because implementing it would be
investigating. The directive was to investigate. Okay, that is the implementation I'm talking about. And the process, as I told you, started immediately. Okay, now once we find out from our own investigations, and then from the hearings that we shall have with these landowners, then we'll make a determination. That is now that's what we say now. The Section 14 of the National Land Commission Act provides the timetable of the steps that should be taken. For example, it says in one section, where we find that the property was unlawfully acquired, it means the law was not followed. Then, not this current law, the law at the time yes, if it was unlawful, that's when we direct revocation of the title. But if we find that the property was irregularly acquired, irregular, it means 1 or 2 steps were overlooked. They took a shortcut, but everything else was okay. The law says we shall correct that irregularity and even issue consequential orders. For example, if we found that he took 2,000 acres and over the next parcel of land, and then maybe there was one step that they did not carry out, we will direct that step is carried out, okay? And then issue consequential orders, tell them return the 2,000 acres to the next person, and then order direct the surveyor to redraw the map to reflect the actual size of that person. That's what we issue consequential orders. In other words, we are just correcting whatever was done. We are not revoking. But if it is unlawful, there is nothing we can do. It's just to revoke.
It's issues that have been there for a long time. Historical injustices is a commonly word that I use when you're talking about land matters in Kenya. In a recent interview, you said in reference to perhaps the various stakeholders, government involvement and approach to this issue, you said you'll be forced to have your fire engines to firefight when the regions affected the most erupt. So we saw Lamu erupt. When you talk about the firefighting approach, because clearly right now it's knee-jerk. This has happened, so now everybody's coming. Let's talk about Lamu. What are these other areas you're talking about that are most affected and that you fear could erupt?
Of course, you know, the coast region historically has a lot of these problems. Other than Lamu, in fact, all the other counties of the coast have a similar problem. Tana River, where most adjudication has not taken place, but some large companies are alleged to have taken some land. Kilifi County, a lot of these cases. Mombasa, people don't know, but it has not been spared. Kwale is same, Taita Taveta. So these areas have common problems that the people who are occupying the parcels of land are different in most cases from the people who own the documents. Okay? And that's a historical injustice that's happened, so it's quite a lot. And then, of course, you know, the issue of absentee landlords. People have been staying there knowing the land is theirs, and there is somebody else who has parcels who have never seen that person. Okay? The other place where we have this problem is Rift. The Great Rift Valley. We have a lot of issues there, which we have been trying, we've been trying to tackle. In fact, there's no week that passes without me going to Rift Valley. Kajiado is a very good example of a lot of injustices. Ranches, group ranches, because they're in Rift Valley, there are very many group ranches. And you know, group ranches have a lot of historical issues because traditionally or originally, the communities believed that they have formed a ranch and they entrust it to a committee. And then they sit back and know that this is our parcel. Unknown to them, the committee transforms itself into a private entity, and then they allocate the land either themselves or to sell to other people, unknown to the original owners, the community. So those ones are many. We have been to Kajiado, we have been to Laikipia, we have been to
it's pretty much every part of the country.
Yeah, we have been.
It sounds like
we was in Gishu, Trans-Nzoia. We have been there. I went there myself, and I think I want to go back. We have been to Nakuru. Same problem. We have been to Elengoroini. Same issue.
Same issue.
Yeah, the third area that we want to zoom in, which we have already talked with some of the leaders, is Northeastern. We have, because vast of which is community land. But there are people who have also done a number of issues there. So we want to, Mandera is our next stop actually.
Sounds like a lot on your plate, and we'll talk about whether you have enough resources to be able to undertake your mandate. But let's take a call from Ibrahim, calling us from Mombasa. Ibrahim, good morning. Hello.
Habari.
Mzuri, thanks for calling.
Yes. Okay, nilikuwa na swali moja kwa Mr. Swazuri.
Ndio.
Haya.
Nilikuwa nataka kumuuliza swali moja. Kuna viwanja ambavyo tunasikia kama viko katika watu wakubwa ambao wako kwa serikali. Alafu na vingine pia vinasemekana kama Taita Taveta nzima imeikuliwa, wengine wanasema ni upande wa rais mwenyewe. Na hiyo vitu kama atachunguza na vikute viko ni ukweli, ataweza kuvileta katika wananchi wajue, na hao kama upande wa rais ama upande wa wakubwa ambao katika serikali wataenda kuandikisha taarifa zao kuhusu vile walivyopata hivyo viwanja.
All right, Ibrahim. Asante sana. We have another one. Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Pauline?
Yes.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead with your question for the chairman or comment.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Dr. Swazuri what he's doing about there's a complaint from Sia County on a piece of land owned by a foreign investor by the name of Dominion, who was given some land by the former county council, and the communities are having a problem with that. They have been sending complaints to the National Land Commission. The time a delegation came and visited them, but since then it has gone quiet and nothing is being done about it. And we are feeling that maybe this is another problem that might erupt in the future, because the communities now, they feel that the problems that they're getting from the investor is now too much.
Where did you say the area is?
Sorry?
Where did you say the area is? Which area is affected?
It's in Sia County, Yala Swam.
All right.
They are being occupied by Dominion farms, who are encroaching to people's private land together with community land, and he's flooded also people's land, so they can't farm anymore.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Pauline, for your question. Let's start with Ibrahim.
Yes, I think it's just the same as we have said. You cannot accuse somebody until you investigate and come up with the findings. Luckily for us, the law has stated the steps that one needs to take, and we also have enabling regulations to do that. So we will still go and find out what exactly happened. And as I've just said, cost has all those issues, and I've mentioned the Taita Taveta is one of them, Kwale and all those. So we'll just follow the same procedure.
Because I think the concern with Ibrahim, as is with many Kenyans, is that land issues, for many, they say the Kenyan dream seems to be to own that piece of land. But it's not Wanjiko that's in this mess that, is being accused, or the names are, it's powerful people that names keep coming up. So the concern is we've never quite seen any of these people brought to book. So when even questions are rising in as far as the president is concerned, people are wondering, Ibrahim is wondering, would there be any holding back in as far as going the full hog in implementing what it is your mandate is?
No, I think the same as is applying to Lamu, we shall apply the same principles for all over the place. But that is a very, very interesting issue you are raising, the one of that the dream of every Kenyan is to own land.
Said to be the Kenyan dream.
The Kenyan dream. But I think that dream may not be easily realizable, because even if you are to take 582 square kilometers, 582,000 square kilometers, divide it by 42 million, you'll have a 0.00 something. It's not possible.
Yes.
Okay? That is why in many other countries, ownership of land is in the state, and it only leases to others. And for urban areas, I think in many countries, there are laws that you have to construct going upwards. Make intensive use of the land that you have, that everybody can own a flat or a parcel of land in the name of a building. But even if you were to review all the grants and dispositions in this country that were given to whoever, we cannot settle everybody on a parcel of land in Kenya. It's difficult. It's impossible.
Pauline as well had a question.
Yeah, there was a question we have sent commissioners into that area, and we have even talked to the county executive in charge of land in that area. It would appear that the entry point was the wrong point for that type of investor, which means people were not adequately consulted when this person was coming on board. And I think they have remained adversarial all the time. From that time, they have never completely accepted. So I think what we want to do with us, why we are taking long, is because we have to negotiate with the landowner and the county government to see how we can normalize these relations. Because when there is a dispute like that over a large parcel of land, you know, the person who is investing cannot go full throttle. The people who are resisting cannot also go full throttle. The land development is paralyzed, and therefore you cannot reap the expected benefits from that parcel of land.
Okay. Yeah. What is this supremacy battle? It has been described, squabbles between you and the CS lands.
Well, I think for us, we think it is misinterpretation of the law. We read the law as...
so you both read it differently, you see things differently?
I think the interpretation is what we think is the cause of this, because for us, when we are told you have to have oversight or planning all over the country, we just take that and ask the county governments how they have planned, where they have planned, why they have not planned. We just take it that way. But somebody else thinks that it is supposed to be done by another. And we can go for every of those functions, the way we see it and the way it is seen to be different. Mm-hmm. I think the main issue has been, especially when it gives to registration, giving of titles. Yeah, that is where the main issue seems to be zeroing in. I'll explain the reason why it is that way. But for us now as a commission, we think if we only concentrate on that, at the expense of more than 40 other roles that we have, we will not move. So we are implementing our agenda. The reason why we were slow is because of two things. First of all, we did not have a strategic plan, which we now did, a strategic plan, and it was launched, I think in May thereabout. And that one now has an action plan, which we are following now, strictly following, so that we do all that pertains to the law. Secondly, we were not very good in getting resources. But now we thank the government through Parliament that has allocated us about 1.7 billion for the financial year, starting July. And we are already, in fact, on Thursday, we approved the budget to be utilized for that, where we shall now be able to implement our programs according to the Constitution. Now, back to the registration issue. You know, the registration of titles or giving issue of titles is one of the most visible.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the most visible activities that can be seen. And it is at the end, or it is the end product of the entire process that I was talking about. So people feel that that is where we should zero in. As we are saying, it should be that way, but using the legal process. The process should be right, because at every stage some people can challenge.
So are you saying right now, as we've been seeing some titles being given, it's been done regularly?
What we are saying is, well, us is to, when you see us complaining or talking about, is because we only want to ensure that the law is followed.
So you're saying the cabinet secretary is giving titles without following due process?
I've not said that. I've not said that. I'm only saying, because you asked what is this feud between...
Yes.
Yes, I'm only saying that.
And you're saying your concern is that the whole process be followed?
Yeah, in every aspect of this, and let me tell you, in every aspect of this work of the land sector, there is a law to be followed.
Okay, before we continue on that, we'll follow through with that conversation on that point. Samuel is still online. Samuel, hello?
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead with your contribution.
My contribution is, between 1980 and 90s, there was a land here in Kakamega, na hiyo shamba ilikuwa ya cooperative societies. Na hiyo shamba wakati cooperative ilianguka, ikafanyika ya kwamba hiyo shamba watu waliingia ndani na wakajigawia na wakauzia wengine, na sasa hatujui kama itarudia serikali ama hao wenye waliingia na wakauza alafu wanunuzi nao wakakuja na kulikuwa hata na some buildings. How do we go on that?
All right, Samuel, thank you.
That one is a very...
And we also have Abbas Goulet. Good morning.
Madam. Yes.
How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, madam.
I'm well, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello.
Okay.
Pauline, I'm Abbas calling you from Wajir.
Yes, Abbas.
Thank you. I hope you wake up well.
Yes.
And greetings to the chairman.
Yes.
So my question is on this land. These things are new to this county government. And the people we have elected may not have the knowledge of these things. Somebody can have a professional of an accountant, but he can be chosen as a governor in a certain county. So that person cannot know the way forward on the land issue. So what the chairman I was asking was, is there any experts in that field of land who have already gone on the record that they have sent to the county government, each government, to go and at least give their ideas and the knowledge they need, those who are concerning about the land. Take example like my county in Wajir, like this one. We have so many problems, complaints coming from the public. But there is no way we can solve until we get the experts, because we are not the experts.
All right. Your point and question is gotten, Abbas. I'll stop you there. Thank you so much for watching and for calling in as well. Let's begin with Samuel.
Kakamega.
Yes.
Yes, Kakamega. I think I suspect it could be like the one of the group branch, where I think leaders of the cooperative connived and killed this thing after having given out the parcel. So for him, what he needs to do is simply to write to the chairman, National Land Commission, PO Box 44417, and then we'll receive it, and then now we'll start investigating. The first point of investigating is to find out whether we have records of that parcels here. And secondly, we now collaborate with information from Kakamega, our land office in Kakamega. They'll tell us that, and then now we shall give them the verdict of that issue. Okay. The one of
perhaps devolving your services, yes.
Wajir, I think I think you are answering properly. Is a question of having the commission's branch in the 47 counties, and the commission has done that. In September, October last year, we advertised for the positions of secretary to the County Land Management Board and the membership of the County Land Management Board as provided for under Section 18 of the National Land Commission Act. Hundreds of thousands of applications were received. We have been conducting interviews, which we have now completed. All the secretaries reported to the counties on 1st July, all of them. 47 of them, they reported, except one or two for whom we need to do, we are doing re-advertisement because we did not get the membership, the correct persons. The 47 county land management boards are also complete. The procedure is that they must be passed by the respective county assemblies. So once we finish the interviews, we compile the lists with the minutes and then send them to the governor to take to the county assemblies, and they are being formed now. I think by the close of business yesterday, I think we had 6 of them already confirmed by the county assemblies. Now, it is these people who will now be the commission's branch at the county level. And it is this that has been infused with expertise. The law says we must have a surveyor or a planner in the County Land Management Board, and even the members, the rest of the members must be people who have got expertise in matters related to land. So we have lawyers, we have a lot of surveyors and so on. Yeah.
Let's go back to the question of the commission and the ministry and what we've been seeing play out. For the titles that we've seen given out so far, would you as a commission give them all a green light that the processes followed were as was supposed to?
It's on a case-to-case. It's on a case-to-case basis.
Okay.
For example, we found like the ones that were given out in cost last year. We found that some had errors, and we requested the people who had problematic ones to come to us, and we correct them. I think we have done that for most of them, most Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa. We have done that. We have even Lamu. We have done the corrections, and then we give them out. So it depends for whichever.
It's case to case.
Yes, case to case. The majority of them were given out, and we have not had complaints from them. And this is what I want to say, that as I was answering the question of why there are these squabbles. There's also, and it still comes back to what I'm saying is a misinterpretation of the law.
And why can't we get this law interpreted by perhaps an independent body?
That is why, of course, you don't want me to answer that. You're asking me further questions. I'm telling you that is why that body you're talking about, we went to the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court, yes.
Yes, so the Supreme Court will now tell us. If they tell us, well, you have no authority to do this, we will just take that, because that's the highest advisory that we can get from this country. Yeah. But I want to answer back. You are stopping me from answering.
No, I've not stopped you from
interfering with my answer, and this question doesn't seem to end.
I am quiet and I'm listening.
First of all, there is a misinterpretation, or people don't understand the difference between a grant, a lease, and a title. Okay. A title deed. What people normally call a title deed. There's no word technically as a title deed. It's a certificate of title. But okay, granted, we use the word title deed. That document that you see with a red crown or star there. The commission is mandated by Section 23 of the Land Registration Act to issue a grant, which means the government gives you land, grants you land, and a lease because the government is the owner of the land, grants you a lease. That the entire of that is done by the commission. Okay, is done by commission, and therefore the commission gazetted the chairman and the CEO last year, October and November, to be the signatories. That is what the law says, signatories to that. Once we give you a grant or a lease, you are at liberty to go to the respective county office or district. At that time, there were districts. We have land offices, land registrars in all the districts. I think there are 252 districts. We have some, I think, 240 or so. There are some number who did not have, and they are being served from next or neighboring districts. You can go now, using that grant the commission has given you, or the lease the commission has given you. You can use that one and go to the Siaya County Council office, Siaya County office or district office, and ask for a certificate of title. Okay, that one is now signed by the registrar, is issued by the respective registrar there, who until now is the employee of the ministry. The commission has never wanted to sign those certificates of title at the district registrar's office. We have never, and we don't even have the mandate to do that. But they want the originating document that gives you that land is the one that, according to the law, is provided by the commission. I think even now, even you may not understand this. It's a technical.
It's a lot of technical stuff that you.
Yeah. So I think that is where the issue is. So when these are given out by the district registrar, we have never interfered with that, because it is the mandate of the registrars there to register. However, people also don't want to understand, or rather they misunderstand, that a title deed, by whatever name you call it, is embodied in a process. Okay? Yeah. The process is the one that is managed by the commission. The recording, which is called the registration, is done at the district registrar's office, and it is done by the registrar. Okay. I think that is why under the law, the bodies are supposed to cooperate, consult, and do things at in harmony. There are some functions, just a minute, because I want us to exhaust this thing.
So
I know this is not the last time you are going to ask me, but I'm privileged.
Well, the reason why the question keeps coming up, sir, is because at every level, with every story that we keep seeing, is you're saying that was not right. She's, overstepping her mandate, with the surveyors the other day being sent to one of the coast regions. Again, you were against that. So it's just that people are being treated to these intrigues, whilst everyone thinks, it should be focused on.
Fine, and that is why the commission is truly speaking interested in ending this, and that is why we went for advisory opinion.
At the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court.
Okay.
So we are saying the process should be followed, and when you say let's follow that, it doesn't mean you're opposing.
Okay, let's take this call.
And this is given in the statutes and in the Constitution. What is wrong with you telling somebody you are following this law? It should be followed. Is that a mistake to do that?
So in the meantime, you'll interpret it and say it as you see it, and they'll do the same until such a time as
when an advisory is given that, by the way, you have been wrong. This is the way you. So we shall take that.
If you're found to have been wrong, you'll eat humble pie and apologize.
We shall take that.
Hussein is calling us. Good morning, Hussein.
Good morning, madam. My name is Hussein from Isiolo.
Yes, sir.
Daktari, good morning.
Morning to you.
Yangu ni kuuliza hivi, 1963 wakati wa shifter emergency mpaka 67, watu ambayo walikuwa wanaishi kwa village zao waliondolewa na serikali katika Isiolo County na wakaletwa katika Isiolo Town. Alafu, are you with me?
You're listening?
Yeah, and then hiyo ardhi sasa watu wengine wamekuja kuishi, na wale watu sasa wanakaa katika vijiji for the last 40 years, bado wako katika vijiji. Na juzi katika TJRC walipeleka malalamishi yao. Hawa communities ni community ambayo wanaitwa Isaac, Harti na Monubians katika Isiolo County, na hakuna mahali ambaye wanaweza kupeleka malalamishi yao. Unaweza kutusaidia tufanye namna gani kwa ajili kuongoja TJRC, na ardhi sasa imekuwa na watu wengine ambaye hata sasa title inakuwa processed. How can you advise? What is the way forward for these marginalized communities within Isiolo County? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. We have another caller. Just a second. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Godfrey, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Godfrey, calling from Nakuru. I want to find out, first I want to thank Bwana Swazuri for being very strong and focused in his duties. I also want to know from his side, because we have had the changes at the RD House in Nairobi. I want to know, it is now taking longer and harder to get a certificate of clearance and every other process in RD House. Do you honestly believe that the place has become better after the cleaning that was done earlier?
Okay, thank you for the question. Let's begin with Hussein in Isiolo.
Hussein's story is reminiscent of what is happening in many parts of this country. It's a question of historical injustice, and we want him to apply to write to the commission, although he has done that, and he says his matter is with the TJRC report, but we still want to get it from him, because under the law, again, the Constitution empowers the commission to investigate these matters, and within 2 years of our enactment, we were instituted in last year, February. Within 2 years, we are supposed to first of all formulate a law to guide on how to investigate historical injustice.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
In order for us to do that, we appointed a task force in May this year, and inaugurated it on May 22nd this year at Pan-Africa Hotel, headed by Dr. Tororei, plus members outside the commission. It's a 13 or 14 member task force, national task force, to go around the country, get views on how to formulate the legislation, because investigations of such nature will go back hundreds or many years back, and affecting very many people, cannot be done by just somebody thinking, oh, I should be done this. It must be legislated, and that's what the law has said. So we are now, we had a meeting with members of parliament. Our first stakeholders, we met last week in Mombasa. And we explained to them, and I think they gave their own views.
So the process of legislation is on track.
Once that legislation is there, we shall take it. We now use it now to investigate such matters. However, meanwhile, we cannot just wait for that. Just like all the others, we have been receiving these complaints, because once the Constitution has said it has to be done, you have a right to do it. The law that will come there will assist us to now institute legal steps. Because you see, everybody can claim that that was their land. Everybody can say, you know, we were Neward, we were this, somebody came and do this, and therefore we shall have chaos. If everybody comes up with a panga to say, this is mine, that was mine, your grandfather was there, my grandfather was there, you are going to have chaos. That's why we are putting it in a legal process.
But do you feel overwhelmed? I mean, the land question is a huge one in this country, emotive because of its nature, and some of the cases you mentioned, pretty much it's all over the country. And even some of the callers calling in, some have just been trying to get their issues sorted out before we go to Godfrey's question. In terms of manpower and infrastructure, do you have enough of that, or do you need help?
Yeah, of course, we don't have enough manpower at the moment, but we are busy recruiting manpower, and our recruitment process is taking long because of the resources. You cannot employ people for whose salaries you don't have or facilities you can't provide. So as we expand, as the government thankfully expands the pass, we also look for the necessary personnel. So far, we have employed the CEO since last year. Then we employed the directors. I think there are 11 of them, directorates, each one different functions. And we have beefed up our secretariat. Recently, we advertised for now the technical staff. Land officers, cartographers.
So pretty much
so
still setting up.
Yeah, because with a new institution like this, which has a huge mandate,
tough.
You need to approach it with a little bit of care, so that you bring in the relevant people at the correct time, and you know we have the right resources for you to do that. So we are recruiting, and for some of the functions, it's not the commission to do them directly. According to the law, we can now delegate this or consult with the relevant agencies. For example, one of our mandates is to manage public land held by public agencies. Okay? That one we can now, we ask the agencies themselves to give us details, and then now we collaborate with them. We are supposed to manage natural resources, KWS, Kenya Forest Service.
So you're in collaboration with other boards. Chairman, let's go back to what Godfrey was asking about the recent cleanup we saw. He, according to his experience that he's had, the activities there are still, you know, they haven't improved. So did it achieve what it was meant to really?
Yeah, I think he's a client who has come to the place, and according to him, nothing has improved, or not much has improved. I'm sure you get another client who will say, well, because I got what I had wanted, things have improved. Largely, we can say the arrangement of the files was done properly, because there was additional shelves that were brought in to remove the files that were on the floor and put them properly. But the activities that are going on there are the same activities because the procedure is the same. You need a search, you need to know about your boundaries, you need to pay for stamp duty and so on. All those things are there, except that now the procedure is being given on the ground floor. People are not allowed to come in. That is what the authorities who did that have said. People are not allowed to come in. So some of the services which were supposed to be done by coming up the building are being offered there. Some of the people are having difficulty in entering because they feel that the procedure of writing for everything, getting a sheet, going there, getting a sheet, and so on, is too tedious for them. So it depends on who has been served. As far as we are concerned,
has it improved?
Well, not much has really been improved. In fact, we're having difficulties with the members of the public accessing the commission, because as we are serving the people from our offices. We have one or two officers down there to direct them to our offices, and we serve them from there, because we don't think it is illegal to serve them from where we are. So it depends on who has come there.
Okay. Recently, Ndongo, advocate of the famous Ndongo report, said that for him going forward with the land question is that the national government or central government divest itself of land issues and leave adjudication of the same to the counties. Do you agree with that assessment?
Adjudication to be left to the county governments without involving the national government,
or perhaps the
National
county
Land Commission.
Well,
where did you mean national government or national county government? Because they are two different things.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think. Well, I didn't get what I watched the last part of it. I didn't get that sentiment. I didn't watch that when he was saying talking about that sentiment. But you see, go back to the history of land allocation in the counties, local authorities, county councils, city councils, and so on. Those days had the power to allocate land, especially in urban areas. And you know what happened. I don't know whether you were there those days, where the local authorities through the assemblies would just come up with a list, and sometimes not rational, sometimes not representative, and they gave out this. But they ran into a lot of problems. That is why in almost every township in this country, there are no title deeds. No certificates of titles at all, because they are shrouded in a lot of controversy. So if we now take back this matter back to where we were, then
things have changed, of course, from
things
then.
Have changed,
now,
but the procedures also have to change. If we take it back there and then expect the same not to happen, I think we are asking for too much.
What for you is the solution going forward?
Except that now there is the County Land Management Board.
Yes.
The power, of course, the ownership of this is still the counties anyway. Us, we are just managers and the administrators. So we are taking this board, which is also, whose formulation was partly with the county governments. Because even the interview panel, they were there. Representatives of the county governments were there. The Public Service Board or whatever were there. So we have been together in this. We believe that if it is taken through that body, and that is what the law requires, we shall have sanity in that process. We'll have a lot of. We think that we will be able to follow the procedure properly and cure some of the malpractices that used to be there before.
You were talking about looking back and going into investigating the land issues from as far back as independence time, and we've had politicians talking about 1902. Is that the way to go back? Because some would argue, will there be an end to that? Because after this can, another can, and more worms will come out. So it will be a vicious cycle of no really solution, just more and more ghosts, if you like, coming up. What really is the way forward with this? Is it, yes, revisiting, going way back, or is it looking forward? And is it possible to look forward without going back, I guess?
Again, in some cases, it is possible to move forward. Without looking, in some cases. Okay. But in the majority of cases, it is not possible, because remember, this is a country that was colonized. And the colonists interfered with the traditional way of looking at the land tenure system. In that interference, a lot of people were affected. Therefore, you cannot ignore them and say, well, forward ever, backward never, let's just move like that. There will still be injuries that will be talked about for years to come. So the best way is actually to what the law has said, that in the formulating this legislation by the Task Force on Historical Injustice, it will decide the cut-off date. how far do we go?
How far back?
Yeah,
okay.
you know, how far you go also is a function of the records that you can obtain.
Yeah.
Okay, the record. When did we start to have records of this? For example, the Sultanate was there for centuries. I mean, for about 2 centuries or so. But even before then, occupation of the coast, for example, had been done by Portuguese and Arabs for many years. Can you get the records of that? But you see, the local people understand what happened. They were there. They have been there, and they claim this is our ancestral. So
for
land.
you, it's two-pronged. There's for some you can go forward, for others you must revisit.
Well, the other thing we must explain to the people is that there are various remedies that will come out of the historical injustice investigations. Sometimes it will be possible for you to restitute. That means take back the people to the land that was taken away from them. In some cases, it is going to be possible. In other cases, it is only going to be possible to compensate them. That, sorry, we took this was taken, this happened, and we can't bring you back, but we acknowledge that, yes, this was, so let's
compensate.
Okay. They say in some cases it will just be an apology. Oh, sorry. In some cases, which has happened in other countries. Hungary, we did a case study, I think last week when we were with the members of parliament. Hungary, in South Africa, I think in somewhere in Moldova. It has happened. We are just an apology because some people are so bitter. But then they know there's nothing they can do. So what can you do about that? Just say we are sorry. You know, sometimes when you say I am sorry,
it has a way of healing
the heart. It has a way of healing the heart.
Okay, let's talk to Mary, who's calling us. Mary, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead with your contribution.
My question is, if I come from Yali,
kindly reduce the volume, Mary, reduce the volume on your television so we can communicate, because there's that feedback we're getting.
Okay. All
right, then go ahead with your question.
Kuna hizi mashamba ziko pale Voi za allotment letter, walipatiana watu allotment letters. Now walipopatiana allotment letters, we tried to pay for those rents walituambia. We've been trying to get our deed plan, but it has become very difficult for us to get the deed plans. Sasa hatujui tufanye nini. Tunaambiwa nenda Mombasa office ya deed plan ni lazima imeshatoka. Get the deed plan before you get the title deed, the lease deed, that is that. Unaenda Mombasa, unaambiwa go to Nairobi. Ukienda Nairobi, unaambiwa nenda Ardhi House. Ukienda Nairobi, Ardhi House, nenda Ruaraka. I've done that almost 5 times. My father passed on. My mom is very old. I'm trying to help her get those papers. It has belonged to sasa. Tutapata vipi hizo deed plan? Hata tutapata nini wazitaje hizi? Not title deeds, but a bank upate nini bank loan uweze kudevelop hapo mahali. Sasa it is very difficult for us. Manake sasa inatu limit.
Okay, Mary, we got your point. Thank you for watching and for calling. We have another caller. Good morning.
Good
Ali.
Morning to you.
Good morning, Ali. Go ahead.
How are you? Okay, Mr. Swazuri, salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
People have invested a lot of money in the Waikiki farm in Likoni. Is there a likelihood that they are going to be evicted?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. All right, so there's Mary.
Mary, yes, Mary's case is again another.
Yeah, I guess for the cases, it's hard to deal with those in an interview.
Yeah. These are the cases that we keep on receiving every day. We document them and we try to assist.
But the challenge for her, I think what came out for me is that, you keep hitting a brick wall.
Yes.
No matter what. The processes are not working. The system is not working.
So we have a way of ensuring that it works. So what I would advise her is she doesn't have to come to Nairobi. She just writes to the commission, and now we shall do the rest for her. we shall ensure that those deed plans are obtained. If they are genuine and if they are ready, we shall get them from the Director of Surveys, and through the VOI office, they can be availed. There, she doesn't have to come.
Okay, I hope that is as simple as you put it.
Because
she sounds very frustrated.
Yeah, I know, frustrated, because you know what used to happen those days, where you are being taken here, you have been taken there, you've been taken there. I think we are trying to eliminate such, so that Kenyans don't have to suffer when they are looking for their rightful services from the public agencies. The one of Ali about Waitiki, I think this is a very, very emotive one, and every answer you give does not satisfy anybody. So I'm sure Ali knows that eviction orders have been given since time immemorial. I think 2009, 2011, they have been giving eviction orders, but nobody has been evicted. Our assertion is still the same that we gave some months back. We have been talking to Julius Waitiki, and the position is, and I'll repeat that position, which the last time we were with Mr. Waitiki, is that valuations had been done. We had asked him to tell us how much he would want to sell, because obviously going back he can't access his parcel, that is for sure, and Ali knows that Gidraf Waitiki cannot access his parcel of land. So what do you do in that case when you cannot access, and all efforts to evict have not been fruitful? So now is negotiation. And that is what the Constitution allows the Commission to do, alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. So we asked how much he wanted, he gave his figure. The county government of Mombasa took the valuers to look at that, and they gave their figure. We sent a valuer through the Mombasa office, and they gave different figures. I said last time, and I was misquoted, some people were saying I had said that they'll buy at 1.7. I did not say that they will buy at 1.7. Okay. I only said that the one valuation gave a figure of 1.7. Another valuation gave a figure of 3 million. Another valuation of those three I've mentioned gave a figure of 3.5 million. Now the negotiations are, what figure do we agree to pay, and where will the money come from? Because if we agree with Mr. Waitiki that he's ready to sell, we are not forcing him, but if he's ready to sell, because he cannot access, and we also have said we want to make use of this land. He, as an owner of the alleged owner of the land, wants also to make use of his land. Okay. So now, if we agree on the figures, we calculate how much he has to be paid, and then we look for the money. And then what we shall do with the people who are there is another we shall cross the bridge when we reach there.
Our time is up, sir, but finally, there's been numerous reports, recommendations, trouble areas being highlighted. I guess there's no need for more of those. We pretty much have a good picture of where. We have enough of those. Yes. So where do we go from here for you as a country with this land question that will not go away clearly until it is dealt with? And it's a nightmare with some regions. It is so bad that, as you said, it's something perhaps that could be waiting to erupt if not dealt with. Now, finally, for your closing remarks, what did you say to that?
Well, we agree with you that there are already enough is there. That is why, because we already have enough, the laws, the Constitution says, the law said prescribe the legislation to be used in making these, in getting the solutions to this. So in other words, what we are saying is, unless it is like the one of Ali or the one of Wajir or the one of Mary in Voi, largely the historical cases are already documented there. So we will not have so much to go back to look for basic information. We'll make use of the information which is there. But there, remember, the people keep on talking of historical. The law says present and historical. So as you are solving the
Historical, you already
other
have
new ones even now, and people are doing malpractices on those. So it is going to be a continuous process. For sure, we will make use of the many reports. I think we know of 18 of them since 1918.
Yeah.
There have been their inquiries, parliamentary select committee reports, akina Ndung'u, akina Waki, akina Kiumi, akina Mwangi Maathai, akina Kiliku, so many of them. Yeah, we have basic information already with us.
So you have a place to start. Well, we'll be watching closely and covering what you're doing and have to say. Thank you so much for joining us and being our person of interest this morning. Much appreciated. NLC Chairman Mohamed Swazuri with us this morning. And thank you as well for being part of the conversation with all your tweets, texts and calls. Always appreciated. After this short break, we'll be talking to Harun Mwangi, who's the chair of the Media Council of Kenya, and we'll be getting into vetting of the institutions that get people like us churned out of and what processes are going into that, and of course what else the Media Council has been up to, and much more. Do stay with us right here on Morning Express KTN.